How y'all doing today? We're doing pretty good here. Today we are working on gathering up the leaves. We have a chipper vac that we vacuum them up with, and we it chips them pretty fine, but we've been putting them in the garden, this bottom portion of our big garden where the corn was. Over the last 2 years, 3 years that we've had this garden here, this part of it's been nothing but a pain in the butt as far as weeds go. So I've put the leaves down on this pretty thick this year. I'd like to do it more than I do, but sometimes I don't have the leaves that I need. So you can see these leaves that chipper vac does a pretty good job cleaning them up. So it might have been kind of hard to see that in there with me shadowing it, but I think you get the gist. So I put it all on here. Probably I still got a little bit more to go. We're out of leaves though. We got all of our leaves sucked up, and we have that much there. Like I say, they're probably 4 to 6 inches thick everywhere. So what she's going to do now, she's going to mow with the bagger on, and there's still a lot of leaves we didn't get, but that we're going to finish that off with grass clippings and leaves. And if that's not enough, which I think it will be, because there's grass is fairly high, but if it's not, we got our neighbor's leaves. Last weekend he was cleaning his leaves up, and I had him bring them down here and put them in a pile for us. And he's got a pretty big pile right there that he gave us. And he kept asking me several times are you sure you want all them leaves? Are you sure you want all them leaves? I said, heck yeah, I want them all. So he's got a pretty decent pile. What he has here will finish us, for sure, if what we get doesn't. But there's still a lot of leaves laying around. And they're still blowing down too. They're not all cleaned up. When she mows, that's the chipper vac right there. You can put a hose on the end, or you can rake them up in a pile and throw them in there, but it works pretty good. Nothing bad about it. Fills that bag up pretty fast. So this compost, it isn't the best quality compost in the world, but it is organic matter, so it is what it is. Around here, if you don't make it yourself, you pretty much have no choice but to get this. This is mushroom mulch. It's not terrible compost, but it ain't as good as what we can make here. I just can't make enough here to do what I need, so I have to buy it in sometimes. Last year I didn't buy any in, and we suffered a little bit for it. Not just because of weed control, but fertility issues. One good thing about putting compost down in the fall is that it gives the microorganisms, all the fungus and bacteria, and time to digest it all, and the worms and everything else to get up in it. And last year I never used a tarp. I just used cover crops. I don't know. I'd like to do a little more cover crops in areas, but I think I want to do like a summer cover crop, not a winter. Because in the spring, it's too hard to get them killed, and it kind of hurt production a little bit last spring. We didn't get stuff in the ground as early as I'd like to have because of the cover crops. But that's just me. So hopefully you can see what I got going on here. I know there's a fair many weeds in this garden. I'm not going to worry too much about that at this point in time. I'm just going to dump compost out. This particular bed here is roughly 4 foot wide. So what I'll do is then when I get my rake, after I get done filling this bed all the way in, that right there will be the compost that I put down. And I'm starting down here I'm going to work my way up that way, because up that way, I don't know if I have enough compost, but if I put some compost in these beds this spring, down here I didn't have any. I did put some in this bed where I'm putting the leaves at right now. I did put a little bit in there, but it wasn't much. And the corn they're a pretty heavy feeder, so that's why I'm putting all the mulch in that area, all the leaf mulch in that area. And this winter won't all go away, but most of that will just rot up this winter. So, and then this compost, it'll rot up a fair bit, and hopefully it takes care of most of those weeds, which I know it will take care of a lot of those weeds, but I'll still have weeds next year. I mean, it's not like you're not going to have any weeds at all, but I won't have as many next year as I do right now, because I'm putting the compost down in the fall. I may wood chip the walkway again yet this fall. I don't know if I'll have time to before the weather changes dramatically. We are at the beginning of November, which normally this time of year it's already cold and nasty out. But this weekend, today's Sunday, and yesterday was a pretty decent day. It was warm, but it wasn't sunny. Today is both, so of course today's a little breezy. But I want to get a tarp down over this after I get all this done. And I'm not going to get it done today, but hopefully by this weekend coming, I'll have everything accomplished. But we'll see. With the time changing, I won't get home till I only have about an hour or so of daylight left when I get home from work this week. And it's supposed to be pretty warm, but I won't have much time. So we'll see what I get done between today and I think Wednesday is when it's supposed to start cooling back off. And I think they're calling for snow on Thursday. So, but that's as of right now. Little pause in the video for a minute. And there is more or less our pet rabbit. You can pet him, but you can't quite pick him up. I think he lives under our building, but that's cool. I assume it's a he. Don't know that for sure. But he's pretty cool. And he's gone. Anyhow, get back to the reality. Can't play with pets forever, right? So I got some beds, compost put in some of the beds. I used a fair bit of compost, maybe half of it, maybe. I know I'm sure you can't tell in this camera, but I still got half of it left, roughly. Take you over here and show you the garden. Basically, this is just, we want to build some soil, build better soil than what we had. This soil down here is not real good. The soil up at our house isn't the greatest either, but we've gardened up there for years, and we're definitely got it improved a lot. So I only got 3 beds composted, and trust me, I don't know how many wheelbarrow loads that is, but it's a pile of them. It's a lot, quite a lot. And then I got just a little bit in this other bed, whatever was left in the last wheelbarrow load, maybe 5 feet worth. These beds are 70 foot long and 30 inches wide. There's 2 beds in here that's 4 feet wide, and one of the ones I did is a 4-foot bed, and the next one, not this one, but that one, is a 4-foot bed. And that 4-foot bed, the first 4-foot bed I did, which is this one here, wet sun is in my eyeballs. Anyways, that 4-foot bed right there, it held 11 wheelbarrow loads just in it. But that's all right. I should have enough. If not, I'll get more in the spring. I'm not going to get any more this fall, but I'll get it in the spring. And also, I showed you earlier, now we have this completed. Part of it's grass, most of it's leaves. Part of it's just mowed up corn cobs, or corn stalks too. Because I mowed the corn stalks down the other night and started mulching with them before I started cleaning up the leaves. So this bed here has been in pretty bad shape for years as far as organic matter and weeds go. This is definitely going to suppress the weeds, definitely gain some organic matter, and then we'll put a tarp over this once I get all these other beds filled in. Hopefully I get a bed or a bed and a half, a couple beds tomorrow evening after I get home from work, and then hopefully I get this done this week. And we get a tarp over this and the upper garden. My wife, Miss Heather, she was mowing. After we gathered up all the leaves, she mowed, and she got all the leaves gathered up. Our riding mower had a bagger on it. She mowed up there, up by the house, and got all the leaves gathered up. And then she mowed the field. And that's where most of the grass came from. Then she made a big pile. She asked me where I wanted her to put the pile at, and I said, "We'll put it where I burnt that wood up earlier this summer." So now we got a big pile of grass clippings. Not real sure what I'll do with that. I'm going to mulch with it, but I'm just not sure where I'm going to mulch. I'll probably use it in the garlic patch. If not, I'll use it in one of the other two beds beside the garlic. That's where it's going to go. But basically what we're working on here, and next year I'm going to get into it more than I have been, is building soil. Our soil down here is pretty poor. We need lots of organic matter. And so I bought in compost for that reason. And then I knew I wouldn't have enough, and then I got plenty of leaves in this bed down here. This bed has been in pretty rough shape for years. So I think this is, we only grew in this patch for 3 years. This was our third growing season. It produces fairly well. I mean, I put a little bit of compost, and I used some of my homemade weed teas that I make. If you've never seen that, I got a playlist. If not, I got a few videos. I'll show them. I'll put the link for those below. So we just got to build soil. That's the main thing. So